I drove down into San Antonio and had a chance to walk around the downtown area before playing some music at Elsewhere Garden Bar and Kitchen. I started out in the Main Plaza area, which is a place for folks to hang out with a lot of history there, given vibes of a European square. And one of the super interesting and popular historic spots right there on the Main Plaza is San Fernando Cathedral. This impressive looking construction goes all the way back to 1730 as a Catholic church, and it's the oldest continuously functioning religious community in Texas and a spiritual destination for many. Right across from that cathedral is another super impressive and historic looking building. It's the Bexar County Courthouse, and this is the largest and oldest continuously running historic courthouse in Texas. And so you can find these tall buildings that surround that main plaza and this really interesting looking architecture that I was excited to check out here in San Antonio for the first time. You can walk along Market Street there across the Riverwalk and find another interesting spot called the Aztec Theater, where they host a lot of live music entertainment within that theater. Right along St. Mary's Street, which is another major street that makes up downtown San Antonio. And from there, you can pretty easily walk up to the historic Houston Street. And Houston Street is lined with bricks on the street for most of it, at least as far as I was seeing there. And they've got a lot of hotels and impressive buildings along there that make this the business and tourist district that it is. So generally, you know, this whole little area of downtown San Antonio is one of the oldest colonial Spanish settlements. And there's many historic landmarks all here along in the heart of the city. Its history goes back to being a premier retail and theater district in the early 1900s. And a couple notable spots include the Gunter Hotel, which goes back to 1909. This is at one time the largest property in San Antonio. And inside, apparently, there's a place called Bar 414. This is where the famous blues musician Robert Johnson recorded his first session. Also along Houston Street is the Majestic Theater. This is going into 1929, all the way back there, where they have a Mediterranean-style architecture, and they got a lot of live music and performances like plays and comedy happening here. Houston Street has the typical kind of buildings that you might expect, the sort of retail. They got signs for Walgreens, drugs, and they've got a Old Town Trolley there passing by. I did spot a place called Devils River Whiskey Distillery, and they were advertising live music nightly on their patio in this historic building. So at least one place where you could find live music that isn't a theater. And you could travel further along Houston Street to find the Hippolito F. Garcia U.S. Post Office and Courthouse building. This was built during the Great Depression to give unemployed folks something to do, you know, rebuilding the economy for a brighter future. And as you look out past across the post office, you find the Emily Morgan Hotel that goes back to 1924. They call themselves the official hotel of the Alamo. And so as you walk this far along Houston Street, you become into the Alamo Plaza Historic District, where they've got the Alamo itself. This is a Spanish mission and fortress compound that goes back to the 18th century, where it was the site, of course, of the Battle of the Alamo, 1836. Major conflict there that was part of the Texas Revolution, which included the death of Davy Crockett, where he's commemorated there with a statue. So a lot of history and really interesting things to see on this walk on downtown San Antonio. I ultimately made it out to Elsewhere Garden, which is about a mile or so north of here. And it is right along the Riverwalk. It's a nice beer garden with some great food and booze. And I've played here before, so I was happy to play here again and had a good time.
Mighty Mississippi don't roll the way it used to roll. I don't go to the places I used to go. Everything's changed and nothing's the same. Most things are forgotten. Everything's changed and nothing
So there's your look at a day in downtown San Antonio, and it's not the only video I posted about neighborhoods around San Antonio. I'll include some links in the description below if you want to check out more. And I'm posting all about touring around Texas and the music scene of Texas, along with my music here on this channel. So go ahead and click on my YouTube channel and look at those thumbnails and see which ones have topics that interest you. Check them out, and thank you for your support.